sweet bot of mine. And yeah! Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be designing and rigging my own Vtuber model. Now I know I already have a model that I rigged up a few months ago, but I kind of feel like that model is a bit too fancy for the whole vibe of my channel. So I'm going to be turning this sweet bot of mine into a rigged model. And first things first, I got to turn it into a rig-friendly model on Ibis. It's going to be looking a bit different from how you usually see me, just because I need to make it rig-friendly and all. Basically what that means is that I have to separate everything onto individual layers so they can individually move later. I also added in a few hand positions and expressions just for fun. Once I was finished with everything on Ibis, I exported it as a PSD, preserved layers file, and I imported it onto my Google Drive, and then I downloaded it on my Computadora, and I opened up Live2d, imported the file in there, and got started. Now, it's been like, what, 4 months since I've used Live2d, so I'm kind of rusty with it, but we'll figure it out along the way, okay? One of the tutorials I definitely recommend if you want to get into rigging is Ikuaki. I hope I pronounced his name right. I'll link him in the description. He provides like really beginner-friendly tutorials. Also, I would recommend, I forgot her name, but she has this really cool accent. But I'll also link her in the description. Those were basically the two tutorials I was going off of. For those who don't know what rigging is, it's basically like animating something, but like without doing it frame by frame. Like you're animating all these things into the characters, so later you don't have to like draw everything out frame by frame. The way you animate it is kind of like using the transform tool in Ibis and the liquify. It's pretty fun and it's actually pretty cool to use. I definitely recommend trying out rigging because it's actually pretty fun. If you follow the tutorials I recommended, it's also pretty easy. Also, for this model, unlike most models, my model doesn't have a sclera or iris. It's just pupil and like lashes. So the eye movements, I know they're gonna be pretty weird and janky, but like I don't mind it. My art style ain't that fancy schmancy either, so I'm fine with it looking a bit homemade because it is. I'm also using Live2d, the free version, so I have a couple of restrictions on there, which made things a little more difficult, but it was still manageable. But there were some expressions I couldn't include in there because of the amount of parameters I could only use. I did add some hair physics to my ponytail strand of hair right there and my bow. Physics is basically like how things work in this universe, like how your hair sways in the wind in real life is basically what I'm programming in here, except it's not gonna look like real life because this doesn't look realistic, okay, let's face it. The footage you may be seeing may look a little weird because I had to continuously pause it and restart the recordings because I was working on this rig throughout the week at different times of the day, so I'm sorry if it looks a little weird. While I was working on the whole rig and stuff, I was also listening to my drawing playlist, which you can gain access to if you check out my website in the description below. There's a lot of K-pop in it, so if you don't like K-pop, I don't recommend listening to it. Anyways, there weren't many complications in the rigging process. I think the only difficult part for me was the mouth. Mouth rigging is just so hard for some reason. But other than that, I think the rig was pretty smooth sailing. Although it did start off a bit rough because I did not know what I was doing. But eventually I did get the hang of it. And then once I was finished with the entire rig, I exported it as a muck file and I imported it into VTube Studio just to test things out. And I fixed up all the bugs. And yeah, here we are. Here's my VTuber model all rigged up. Hopefully we can do a live one day and use this model. But I haven't done a live recently, even though I promised I would do a live one day. I don't know. I have this irrational fear of doing lives. I like having the comfort of being edited. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Try out rigging if you want to. It's actually pretty fun and easy to do if you follow the tutorials. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!